Cameron Cox.
Bruce Cooper.
Yes, we're here to talk a little Phoenix Suns basketball. Of course, last night, all the Valley on pins and needles as we went through the draft lottery. Of course, it was 1 year ago that the Suns came out for the first time in the 50-year history of the franchise with the top overall pick. That translated into DeAndre Ayton.
Your reaction to that was priceless, by the way.
Yeah.
For a guy who just got some new knees,
hey, look,
you literally put them to use jumping up and down.
I got all caught up in that. Now, obviously, Zion Williamson is the prize, the big catch in this year's draft lottery. If Phoenix didn't get the first overall pick and have lightning strike twice, they would be just fine with Ja Morant getting the second pick. But I don't think anyone, not a single Suns fan, saw the Suns falling outside of the top three. But here they are sitting at 6. Fans colossally disappointed. It's like the air's been let out of the balloon. A big kick to the gut. Like you lost your best friend to your rival in high school. I mean, all that and then some. That's how you would describe how Suns fans felt yesterday.
Suns fans, I hope you're doing all right. The reason we're doing this video 24 hours later, Coop and I probably needed a day to digest what just happened. I know I did, Coop. You kind of mentioned all those things. Like yesterday watching the draft lottery, you just didn't think it was possible that they would go to 6. Now, that was the best chance they had.
I knew the odds.
The odds to land 6. That's what the odd makers said, that the Suns were going to have that 6th pick. Unfortunately, they had the tied for the the first best odds at 14% to land that number 1 pick. But we just didn't think.
Everyone else had odds lower than Phoenix.
We just didn't think it was possible that the Suns were going to fall to that 6th spot, even outside the top 3. We thought the worst, the very worst, was number 3. And just when it happened, you just didn't know how to feel because you thought the Suns had finally fallen on good fortune. It seemed like with James Jones taking control of the reins, we've talked about this before, Robert Sarver giving him kind of the keys to let him drive now. Monty Williams, he picked Phoenix, which has been unheard of recently. And so you just thought maybe their tide had turned a little bit, some luck in their favor, and this just kind of brought us back down to reality that this is what the Suns are right now. They don't have a lot of things going their way.
Things just historically haven't really gone the Suns' way. I mean, you can go all the way back to the 1969 coin flip. Suns, Jerry Colangelo with Johnny Kerr, the head coach next to him. They call heads. We all know that it turned out tails. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a.k.a. Lou Alcindor at the time, he was a huge prize. All he did was win 6 NBA titles, be a Hall of Famer,
we're sorry, Suns fans,
is the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Well, Suns had another chance in 1987. David Robinson is the prize.
Right there.
San Antonio Spurs, Bob Bass, the GM, next to Jerry Colangelo. There it is. The commissioner, David Stern at the time, making the announcement. Yes, Suns get the second pick. The Spurs with the first pick.
We had talked about this was the one time it was okay to finish second.
Right. And so what you're left with now is number 6. So there's really you're really not going to find any teams trying to trade to get number 6 because this is not the deep draft that we saw a year ago. This draft really, for the most part, is 3 deep.
And then after that, it's a bunch of we'll see,
so the 6th pick doesn't have a whole lot of value, but the Suns could maybe package 6 with maybe a few players. I know T.J. Warren's name's mentioned a lot, Josh Jackson as well. But again, what can you expect to get back? Because you're not going to land in the top 3, any of those top 3 spots with whatever you package. So
I want to ask you what the Suns could do, but I also want to ask you what last night meant for the NBA. But you threw out some trade scenarios last year. I know. After it was announced that the Suns were going to get the 6th pick, you and I kind of looked at each other and we're just like, well, where do they go from here? I threw out the possibility of maybe taking that 6th pick. You mentioned T.J. Warren, Josh Jackson, but who takes that deal? T.J. Warren has a bigger contract, probably bigger than most would think. Josh Jackson, he has some potential there. We still haven't seen him grow into the player we thought he was going to be. How valuable is that 6th pick? If you package that kind of group together, what are you getting in return from that? Who's willing to take that? Is there a team out there that might take something like that?
I just don't see that taking place, So I think what the Phoenix Suns are going to be left with is actually seeing which prospect is left on the board at 6. There's Darius Garland from Vanderbilt. I mean,
only played in 4 games.
But if you watch
4 games in 2 minutes.
But when you watch the kid play from a high school standpoint, played in the USA versus World. He also was in the McDonald's All-American game.
Young guy.
But but his skill set, you watch. He has a very tight handle. He's a shot maker with range. This kid's
still a work in progress.
He's a very, very skilled player. He just doesn't have a lot of experience behind it. So again, if you're the Phoenix Suns, you're taking on another young prospect that's going to need time to develop. So it's incumbent upon the Phoenix Suns to go out and find an experienced point guard and let Garland, if he's a guy there, learn behind him. Or there's Kobe White over at North Carolina, very, very fast, electric player who can get up and down the court. Look, when you watch him play during the tournament, he gets out of control a lot of times.
More body control.
But again, we're talking about a young kid that's going to need time to develop. Very skilled, very talented, but needs time to develop. So James Jones has to either find someone via a trade or most likely through free agency.
That's the whole point here. Robert Sarver has given James Jones the keys to this franchise. It is his team. It is now. He's going to make the decisions. This is so important, Coop, that James Jones knock it out of the park, more so than ever this summer. They have to figure out a way to get this team to 40 wins. That's a 21-game improvement, which is unheard of in the NBA.
It's not unheard of.
It might as well be. I know what you're going to say, but it's almost virtually unheard of. That's how bad the Suns are. They have to figure out a way just to get to 500.
I have Suns fans out there who can remember the Suns had won 28 games. They went from 28
is different than 19.
To 55. Then that's a 27-game improvement.
They also have better players on that team. They got to figure out a way to get this young core grown up quickly, and James Jones has got to get some home run hires in here this summer. It's so important. I mean, 20 games is tough to do in the NBA, regardless who's on your team. A 20-game improvement is very hard to do.
It depends on what type of free agent or what type of talent that you can bring in.
I think we both can agree on Kelly Oubre. You got to bring him back. One, right?
Yeah,
that's one.
Right. But I'm just talking about outside talent now. I'm trying to bring back, there are a
Kemba Walker out there.
There are a number of marquee free agents out there who could be difference makers. Now, whether or not Phoenix is on their radar,
Kevin Durant,
only time will tell. Well, sure. I mean, you can throw Kyrie Irving. You can say Klay Thompson. Anthony Davis is a guy that's up for trade. So
the Suns have nothing New Orleans wants. There's no way. There's no way the Suns could package something that doesn't include Booker or Aiden to get Anthony Davis. That's another thing. New Orleans is not giving away Anthony Davis. They don't have to now. They don't have to. They're going to take the best possible offer.
They weren't going to give him away anyway. I mean, look.
You had Knicks fans out there hoping that they would trade their bench and that first-round pick for Anthony Davis. Not going to happen, by the way, folks.
No, the Lakers still have the best package. I mean, they offered just about everyone outside of Brandon Ingram and LeBron James last time around. Now they can add the fourth overall pick to that.
Which means they would pick, the Pelicans would pick twice before the Suns even picked twice.
Yeah, it's a lot that could take place.
And
I think we have an answer.
Yeah, Jeff Schneider says, Cam, go get him.
Jeff, our executive producer, is out and about. We miss you, Jeff.
Peter says they need a point guard.
They need a point.
Kobe White is awesome and a perfect.
You mentioned
Peter talked about bringing in Kobe White. Look.
The bad part is just another young guy on a team that doesn't need any more young guys because more young guys is not going to get you to 500 basketball.
Yeah, I personally like Darius Garland better than White. I know White's more athletic and a lot faster up and down the court, but if you watch Garland play, the kid, like I talked about, the kid has a very tight handle. I mean, he can really handle the ball. And his range on his shot.
High school's a whole lot different than the NBA.
Dude, Cam, if you watch the kid play, I need you to watch the kid play.
I'm just saying,
Peter,
high school is a lot different than the NBA. And 4 games in college isn't showing me much.
No, Cam. A lot of kids have come directly from high school to the pro, right?
And it's unfortunate.
And Cam, now we've seen
a lot of kids. LeBron and Kevin Garnett's fine. It's all the other ones I got a problem with.
How about Kobe Bryant?
Kobe is fine.
Amari Stoudemire did all right too. Right? No, but I'm just saying.
Those are guys at a different level. Cam, you're not putting this kid in that level.
I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you, the kid has a skill set that translates to the NBA.
But it's a work in progress. That's what I'm saying. He's another work in progress. Another project.
We talked about a little earlier how the Suns would still need to go out and get some type of veteran point guard, be it free agency or trade. They absolutely have to. And Cam, what are some of those point guards out there that you think the Suns could go out and get?
You hear the name Kemba Walker out there. The only problem is I think he's going to cost too much money. Yeah, it just depends on what the Suns are willing to spend. They have some financial problems. They definitely have to work, especially when you pay Kelly Oubre. The fact that Tyler Johnson's still on the roster, he's making $19 million. Can you move that? Can you get T.J. Warren's contract off the books? That can create some more money too as well.
Unless the Suns don't have.
I know you don't
money.
like Terry Rozier.
No, Terry Rozier's not. He's not a difference maker. He's not. Look, the Suns don't have enough money right now from a free agent standpoint to go out and get a big name without getting rid of big contracts like be it T.J. Warren or Tyler Johnson.
Some Suns fans have sent me messages saying, "Hey, what about Mike Conley? You know, if the Grizzlies."
Hey, look! Stop with the Mike Conley nonsense. Yeah. The dude is 31 years old. He'll be 32 when the season starts.
Making too much money.
He's making 33. Yeah. I think the guy's
injury prone too.
He's owed like $67 million over the next 2 years.
Not a good
Stop
contract.
It. Don't mention the name again. I don't want to hear it. Suns fans, you just need to get better than that. You need to be better than that.
Yeah, we can't do Mike Conley.
No.
Here. So.
Brian asked,
who else we got?
How can we get Sarver to sell this team?
Brian, Robert Sarver is not selling the team. Yeah. You know,
for those of you who don't know,
not anytime.
We just got a question from Brian who asked, "What would it take for Sarver to sell this team?" Coop, you have an interesting take on Robert Sarver these days, just because he seems different.
It's not a take; it's what I noticed. Look. I was out at the Larry Fitzgerald Celebrity Softball Tournament. Well, Robert Sarver was there as well. Now, I spent about 15 minutes or so with Robert Sarver. I mean, entirely different. I saw a side of him that I've never seen before. It's almost like you get him away from the basketball office and you say, wow, this guy he's real sociable. He's very engaging. I mean,
you see what Larry Fitzgerald speaks very highly of Robert Sarver. And so now when you get a chance to interact with him like that, you're like, right. Hey, Larry has a point to what he said about Sarver.
I saw that side of Robert Sarver, and then I asked him about, you know, the side of the practice arena and gym, and he told me that he was going to place it over near 44th Street and Camelback. And I said, gee, Robert, that's not nowhere near close Talking Stick Resort Arena. Well, he talked about how most of the players stay in the Paradise Valley area and they don't like driving all the way in to work out late at night. So he says he has a gym at his home, and so a lot of the players came and worked out at his home. But he's going to put in that area to satisfy his players.
That's a side of Sarver people don't see a lot.
Right. I mean, look, he's very much into his players. I mean, I saw that. And then he was playing catch with DeAndre Ayton. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I mean, you know, it's almost like a father playing with his son. But DeAndre Ayton, I mean, the kid. I was scared for him to even play in a softball game. It was his glove placement for the ball. He was not good. But then Robert says, "Look, Coop, he's never picked up a baseball bat or a glove. So look, he's not going to play in the game."
Thank goodness he plays basketball, right?
Right. He's an outstanding basketball player. The guy's going to be a perennial all-star, no question. But look,
the best part about what Robert is doing lately, and this is what I'm hearing from people around basketball too as well, you've heard the same thing, is that he has given this thing over to James Jones. He's stepped back. For the first time, he has stepped back. And this is not just coming from people at the Suns organization. This is coming from people around Monty Williams himself who know James Jones, who fully believe that this is their team. And Sarver's letting other people do the job now, which is what he's needed to do for years. And the fact that he gave Monty Williams a 5-year deal, that's the biggest thing to me, Coop. That's a 5-year. Now, sure, he can fire him if he wants to. You still got to pay him for the rest of the years. But the fact that he gave him a 5-year deal, that's a commitment to a coach and to let him do his thing.
Let me give you something. A little history lesson. There was a time when the Phoenix Suns had a terrific player named Joe Johnson. The Suns decided not to pick up that 5th-year option, so he would become a restricted free agent at the end of the season. So I went up to Robert and I said, Robert, I think this is a huge mistake. We talked about it, and he says, hey, look, he wants Steve Nash money. Steve Nash is MVP. I told Johnson, if he went out and proved that he's worth that extra money, we'd give it to him. So he promised me that the Suns would match whatever offer came in. Well, that didn't happen. We lost Joe Johnson. So during that same time period at Larry Fitzgerald Celebrity Softball Tournament, I go up to, I'm talking to Robert. I said, Robert, we have to re-sign Kelly Oubre. That is a must. And when he told me, he says, talk to James Jones. That's all on James. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's James Jones. So it goes to what you're saying. He's stepping back. He's letting the people that he put in charge now call the shots, which is completely different from what we've seen in the past. So, like I said,
Suns fans, there's hope. Even though it got knocked out of your chest the other night at the draft lottery, there is hope that Sarver has stepped back and let other people do the job.
Look, people, I'm not going to blow smoke. I'm going to tell it just like it is. Look, Robert Sarver, and look,
been tough at times.
Yeah. Look, him and I have had kind of like a chilly relationship. He's not been too fond of some of the things that I have both written and said about him. But I'm going to tell you something. The guy was just golden. I saw a different side of the man, and look, I'm willing to see what he can do going forward, because what I saw, I came back to you guys.
Yeah, it's almost speechless.
Just raving. Yeah, I said, the guy, I enjoyed my time. I would spend time with Robert Sarver again. I had that much of an enjoyable time with him.
It's interesting because now you can place the full blame, if this doesn't work out, on James Jones and Monty Williams.
Yeah, but here's the biggest deal is that here's someone who's saying that, look, I've made some bad decisions.
I've made a mess.
The past.
Yep.
And so what I'm going to do now
back.
is that I'm going to put people in charge. I'm going to step back and let them do their thing. So time will tell. But look, I saw a different Robert Sarver, and I was very, very impressed.
We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
In final sentence, what biggest thing the Suns need to do this offseason is what?
They have to hit a home run in free agency.
Big free agent.
They have to get a big fish.
Kevin Durant?
That's a big enough fish for me.
Monty knows him well.
That's a big enough fish for me.
I'd go visit his house.
You wouldn't find me complaining.
As soon as the season was over, I'd be at his house with a gift basket. Where do you get all of Phoenix to put in a gift basket and give to KG? Guys, thanks for joining us.